Welcome to the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by Shekina community members. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekinacommunity.com. Hi there, this is Ray. It is episode 69 of the podcast. It's Thursday the 5th of March as I record this as a pre-scheduled meditation episode, podcast episode. And this next week we should be back. I should be back at my computer. So although we're still on break, I should have a real-time intro recorded. So this is the last of this sort of little special set, although we do still have meditations from Shambhala to share with you. But the last of these sort of shorter intro, pre-recorded set of meditations. Right now, we are still scattered around the world. We are still on break. And it's exciting to think about. We have about 3 more weeks or maybe 1 more month of being away from each other and being on break. And then things will start to ramp up as usual back into our season, into the rainy season part of the year. We recently returned from Shambhala Festival, and as we were able to guide meditation there, most of these meditations come from sessions that we held there for the next few weeks. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you're enjoying the random extra sounds that you hear in these meditations, as well as just kind of being on the ground and doing this in a bigger space with us. Listeners, this podcast is supported by you. Because Shekina Meditation Podcast is a meditation podcast, we want to keep it ad-free. Our beloved patrons at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month, and patrons get things like extra audio as well as just that good knowledge that they are helping to support something that's offering free meditation, Christ-centered meditation to people from around the world who are interested in things like this, seekers and travelers. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast. Another way that you can support us is by rating or reviewing us on iTunes. There's links on the podcast for that. You can email on the website. You can email the podcast. You can send it. You can share it. You can sit and listen with 1 earbud each with someone. You can listen to it at your small group or, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Just share however you feel. We love it. We love to have more listeners. And supporting us through Patreon or other ways helps us to know that you appreciate what we're doing in putting the podcast into the world, which keeps us doing it because, we love that kind of partnership of people listening and people as we send them out. Patrons, you are the best. You are as cheerful as beautiful red hibiscus flowers. Today's episode is the Lectio Divina on a few verses from Psalm 91, guided by me, Ray, at Shambhala Festival in northern Thailand. The meditation will have 3 parts. First, I will guide you through some exercises to help you find that quiet and rest and space for meditation in your mind, just to come to a different kind of being, like a quiet way while you slow yourself down. Then I will read through the verses a few times with lots of space in between. I have paraphrased the verses a bit today. So I will read through them and you can, have lots of silence and space in between. And then when you're ready, you can process your meditation through journaling some thoughts if you're by yourself, or if you're with others, you might like to pass a talking stick or another object. Something that means that it's that person's turn to talk and that they get to share from their heart while they're holding the stone or the stick or however that is. And really try to listen well to each other. It's one of the best ways I know of to get to know others is to really hear from their experience, especially with something that goes as deep sometimes as meditation. Let's begin. Okay, well, welcome to Shekina Meditation. Just thinking today about how much goes on around us all the time, like in spaces like this. So it's really nice to have a moment to sit and just take a moment to really center ourselves on like one idea or one thought or a few thoughts, and just come and sit in silence. And at Shekina Meditation, we believe that we are meditating on the divine, but also that as we meditate on the divine, we meditate with the divine. So we are being like prompted and moved and inspired and guided, I guess, by the divine presence as we meditate. We are a devotional community in Pi, and we are devotees of Christ. So our meditation often is in this, it's in a tradition of like creating space for the divine presence to speak, because all of life is this interaction with who and what and how God is in the world, and how we are being influenced and how we are being guided and loved by the divine presence. And so that's kind of what this meditation is about. It might be a little different if you've done other kinds of meditation, but it's for creating this space of peace and quiet and bringing the heart to a place where we can interact with the presence of the divine. I'm going to be starting with some exercises where we can kind of come to a place of quiet and rest, a place where we can find focus, and then I'm going to continue with reading a few verses out of an ancient psalm. These were written about 3,000 years ago, and really these amazing poems that were written from a very raw place, I think, in a society where life was always in the balance. Like people were running for their life, or they needed the divine in a way that was really like visceral. It was like a real need. And so these poems, we still have them, and they still speak to us all these years later. And then the third part of the meditation is that we will pass this talking stick around. Today I just picked up a very big stick off the ground, so it's kind of nice. It's like, feels powerful. But you can have a chance at that time to speak from your experience of whatever happened to you during this time. And we really try to make it a safe space where we don't teach each other or correct one another, but just hear each other. And it then it like multiplies our own experience, because we get to hear how each person was reached by this. We all come from different places and different paths. And so, you really are welcome no matter what path you're on, no matter what tradition you come from. It's really a beautiful thing just to sit together in meditation. So, let's start with, as we're at a festival, we're sitting and lying on the ground all the time, so we have maybe a few more knots and kinks in our muscles than usual. So just find those places and stretch them out a bit. Make your body comfortable. And you are welcome to move or shift your body as we do this meditation. You don't have to sit in one place all the time or one posture. But to begin with, let's just really begin by straightening really tall and getting all those vertebrae in our spines in line, and having the crowns of our head like reach really high. So our chins are tucked a little bit. You can kind of make the lungs nice and big this way, and then begin to focus on your breath. Just allow the rhythm of your breath to help bring quiet to your mind. might help you to imagine it as a wave in the ocean, water reaching up and then falling back down each time you breathe. Or you can imagine what it would look like if you drew a wave. If you drew your breath in the sky, even with your finger, just follow that rhythm. And try shifting your awareness to the sensation of air on your skin. Our own presence here is contained in this body sitting right here, connected to the ground beneath us. And just being gently touched by wind, by breezes. It's all you. The wind is touching your hands, that's you. It's touching your face, that's you. When you're ready, you can bring your awareness to your sense of hearing. What do you hear around you? In this beautiful and full space, we have many sounds, many different kinds of sounds. Experiment with finding one sound and then jump to another one and jump to another one, trying to listen to different kinds of sounds around you. You can use sound as a guide during meditation. A loud sound can guide you back to your center of focus. A quiet sound can encourage your meditation. You can bring it in and play with the ideas of sounds in meditation. it might be helpful to play with the sounds rather than fighting sounds as distraction. Just play with them and bring them in. We all come to this moment together, carrying things with us, our thoughts, memories, things that have happened today or will happen later, lists and ideas. And right now we are forming a safe sort of hiding place from those things, or a space that's clear and open. And so you can take some time to watch your thoughts for a little while, just to see what comes, to see them come by and be in front of you, and then we'll take some time to let them go. So imagine that your thoughts are running like a stream at your feet, just running by you, flowing over rocks, flowing along. And take some time to notice what thoughts pass by. Mm-hmm. As your thoughts pass, imagine walking along the stream of thoughts and following them until they empty into a still and quiet pool of water, like a small pond or a little lake, just becoming completely still. Maybe the thoughts all drift to the bottom until what's on top is just the reflection of light on the still water. This place is for you. This is where you can sit and be and find space for meditation. The Divine Presence is here with you at this small lake, this pool of water. This is a place of love, and you have been welcomed and invited here by the Divine. This kind of meditation is a practice. It's best to practice it with a lot of self-acceptance and kindness to oneself. So that if the mind drifts or is distracted, we gently nudge it back to the quiet, back to the still pool, without judgment, just coming back. Invited back. If you feel comfortable, you can imagine that light of the presence of the divine all around you. Imagine yourself sitting in the center of the love of the divine, like light and warmth all around you. I will read the verses 3 different times. And each time, just take the words with, imagine them before you. You can imagine the way they look or feel or taste in your mouth. Play with the ideas behind the words, and just feel really free to be like a child in this meditation. The one who lives in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For he will save me from the snare and from the deadly poison. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His steadfast love is a shield. You will not fear the terror of the night, or the arrow that flies by day. The one who lives in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. The one who lives in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust.
For he will save you from the snare and from the deadly poison. For he will save you from the snare and from the deadly poison. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His steadfast love is a shield. His steadfast love is a shield. You will not fear the terror of the night or the arrow that flies by day. You will not fear the terror of the night or the arrow that flies by day. The one who lives in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For he will save you from the snare and from the deadly poison. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His steadfast love is a shield. You will not fear the terror of the night or the arrow that flies by day. Take a moment to come back to the quiet body of water, the lake. As you sit and look over the water, if you feel comfortable, you can hold out your hands. And ask for whatever words or images from this meditation the divine would like you to carry with you. Ask for them to be imprinted on your mind and your heart. In a moment, we'll start our talking circle. So slowly bring yourself back. And we'll know that we're all ready to begin when everyone is seated with their eyes open.
Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation available each week, so don't forget to subscribe to iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Also, you can rate or review on iTunes or sign up as a patron at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast. Have a beautiful week. Many blessings to you.